Hi Stephen, we've had a busy couple of days on yours now and got this ready for the body to come off. We've got one bumper bracket to take off the back, which we've not done yet, and I'll show you that in a moment. Spare wheel carrier is pretty much seized on this, so we're going to wait till the body is off and then use some oxyacetylene on the nuts to get that off. It's all been reasonably straightforward. We've had two body mounts to cut, two body mount bolts to cut. The rest of them have all come undone, not too badly. I'll show you a bit underneath what we've got. I'll start at the front. There's bits of bodywork damage around the front, around the spoiler and around the front end, which I don't think we're going to get too far into. We're sort of mainly concentrating on mechanical and chassis and everything. Front cross member looks alright. Front suspension, there's sort of bits of bushing. That bushing is pretty much non-existent in there, and this one's sort of on its way. I think it's a similar story on this side, isn't it? No, they're just badly cracked, but that will all get renewed as piece and part of this job. The fuel pump has got a very, very tight bend on the petrol line. We'll change that to a more correct fuel pump with a nicer run. We've got things like power steering hoses are all sort of chafed through and whatnot, and we'll deal with those as a matter of course again. And it looks like there's been some repair done around the power steering mount on the chassis rail there. Quite a common problem area, and I think we've got a bit of cracking around engine mounts, so we'll look at those. We've cut the old exhaust off. I mean, that was just garbage, so that's gotten junked, and we're going to junk those headers as well and put a completely different system on there. It's very, very oily under here, very, very dirty car to work on. But when this comes off, everything will get steam cleaned heavily. Brake lines have been joined under there, all not very nice, and it gets quite scabby once you get around towards the rear here. This is the area, so this is passenger side, trailing arm, and you can see it was all splitting apart and blowing out in here. And you can also see, if I shine that, you can see this area here where there's been bits of metal plated over the chassis, not very nicely, and obviously covering up something nasty. Same on this side, it's all blowing apart, and I'll show you better from the other side where you'll see the bits of repair that have been done. Brake lines are all routed wrongly and they're all crappy anyway, so they'll get renewed. What else? Just general wear, bits of scruffiness here and there, which will all get sorted. And we come around this side here, so this is driver's side now, and you can see those plates that have been put on the chassis here and here and here, and going across this centre part here. That's the worrying one, because if this cross member here is rotten, that makes the job just a whole bunch bigger. So we'll, fingers crossed on that one. We'll see what it's like when it all comes apart. I'll go around the front, just get a little bit of the I don't know how much. Oh yeah, the other thing, the headlight pivots. Ronnie, just let this ramp down a bit, will you? The headlight pivots are all knackered as well, and the wiring around the headlights, it's just horrible. Whoever's done work on this car, okay love, thank you, wants stringing up, honestly. So you see in there all the headlight pivots, we see that wobbling around there, they want replacing. And the wire, I mean, look at this. He must have stood back with his hands on his hips, proud as punch when he achieved that. But we'll make that all nice. Yeah, so where's that? Yeah, and you can see all up in here, it's all full of gumbo and nasty, and like this, the corner of this panel's all just so thick and bloody manky. But what do? If you get into that, you're into painting the car, and it just becomes a monstrous task. Right, I'll let this down. I'll get some from up top.